got a few of the DDB alumni in the room today, but you've done innovation across the spectrum. You've been an entrepreneur many times. You've been on the agency side, principal side, and you're in a kind of unique position. I know you're a man that loves research and academia. What's your starting out? What is your personal philosophy of innovation, Ram?
So I have a very strong sense of belief on what can be invented and what only can be innovated. For example, we got people from the mobile phone industry, but if you look at mobility as a space, there was wireless. Everything on top of it is actually innovation. So if you look at it, the airways which we keep talking about, it started with 2G, Edge, you went to 3G, 4G, 5G, but all of the fundamentals were invented, which was mobility. That was the core, right? And therefore, I strongly believe that you don't come with inventions every second day. There is a big possibility of innovating on what already exists. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. So my perception around that, or philosophy, not perception, because that's what I believe in. I think innovation is at the heart of a human being from the time he's born. So it depends on how you look at it. You start crawling, and eventually you walk, and then you run. But you keep moving forward. So different ways of how you look at it.
It's very interesting, this, isn't it, Ram? Because you're absolutely right. So mobility is the need or the human topic, in the same way that empowerment might be the topic. Do you feel fundamentally that when it comes to innovation, it's all about solving fundamental human things as opposed to making new things?
More or less. There will be needs where you'll have to invent. For example, the vaccine that got invented for all of us globally on COVID had to be invented, because there's nothing like that which existed to arrest that virus. But everything otherwise, like I said, is normally on fundamentals that exist, and you innovate on top of it. So you have cars, now you have EV, but again, it's the fundamental of the mobility aspect. Mobility, when I say mobility, not the mobile phone solution. I'm saying transportation existed for the last 100+ years, but the forms of it have changed.
How do you? I mean, we interview on WION, Ram, a lot of entrepreneurs, and we're always startled by how they've built big businesses just by observing something that is needed, right? It could be a shopping experience. We interviewed the founders of Laundry Mate the other day, who basically realized that laundry was a kind of pain in the A. But how do you personally keep yourself loose enough, or keep your clients loose enough, to see what problems are out there to solve and innovate against?
That's a very tough question to answer, simply because you're solving for very different problems for very different clients in different categories, if you have to look work-wise. In terms of remaining fluid it's another important aspect for you to be successful when you're looking to solve for problems for clients, because they're looking up to you. And for that, you need to continuously be reading a lot, researching a lot, understanding a particular category, which at the heart makes you confident when you deal with clients who are looking for solving problems, and they're expecting you to do that. So you have to be curious in the first place. So it's very difficult. That's why a lot of people think that the agency side of it, the business is very it might be a little easier, but it is not, because you got 20 different brands that you're handling. Each of them are very different, and then you're solving for different problems for each.
And there's pressure, right? I mean,
massive pressure all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. There's points about, COVID created the pressure for a vaccine, in the same way that being client-facing, you can't just sit on your backside,
you cannot,
right? Is pressure a big part of innovation?
No, I think that innovation comes out of a need which exists, but somebody has not actually cared at looking at it deeply, right? I mean, look at all the innovations that have happened at scale in India, whether it's through the QR code which Paytm came up with, or the COVID innovation I mean, when I say COVID, I'm saying the solve for the problem. No, but I'm saying, I'm not talking talking about the disease per se, but no, I'm saying the solution for it, was digitized across India. I mean, if you look at it, there were no medical records. So I'm not talking about the vaccine here. I'm talking about the records that were digitized. I mean, we never had this kind of solution in India before. So
well, it's what you're saying. It's kind of adjacent innovation, right? It's innovation that sits on top of another form of innovation. Tell us about the whole geo thing, right? Because you talk about a scale. I mean, that's an awesome example of something that kind of, well, it didn't come from nowhere, but it came very quickly, very fast, and very widely.
So when it did come, people don't realize that, it was in the making for 5-6 years. I mean, Jio acquired the license in 2010 and launched in late 2016. But there was so much of work that had to get done. So during all of this, people who worked there seriously didn't know how this is all going to pan out when you launch. Because you typically, when you launch something, you have a traditional marketing plan going in there. You're looking at several different aspects of, looking at all the touch points that could possibly exist for you to get your consumer acquisition going and things like that. But, I was so taken aback when I realized that we are, at the scale at which legends like Mukesh Bhai and his team, which we are part of, can think was unprecedented, because we never imagined that there could be an Aadhaar solution where you could put a finger and then that gets connected back into the Aadhaar database and you could activate your SIM card immediately. That phenomena did not exist till the time Jio launched. We could not believe, Apple or for that matter, even Google Play Store never had a multiple app solution on a single app. So the MyJio app that you're currently seeing, earlier when you downloaded you had to download several apps from, if you need to access an app, you need to go to the store, download the app. But on Jio, you download a MyJio app, and there were a lot of other apps within MyJio which were already activated. The only thing that you had to do was the discovery part of it was made so easy, in the sense you didn't need to go and find out for Jio Music. You didn't need to go and find out for Jio Cinema. All of it existed in MyJio, and then you had to just activate it by clicking on it. And that was another innovation. There were like 15 different apps within MyJio which never was, we had not thought about something like that could happen. We thought that we had to discover each of these apps when you properly load it up on the App Store.
But it's interesting listening to you, because you're kind of positing an idea, Ram, of the enabling thing is the really thinking big. The Mr. Ambani thing. Oh, it's the same thing, isn't it? The sort of, John Kennedy sponsors the moon launch, not because it's easy, but because it's hard, right? Is there something about these characters that can allow people to think big?
They don't look for solving for problems. I don't think the Kennedy example is the right example if you have to compare these two, because they hold significance during that period. I mean, if you look at Mukesh Ambani, the impact that he creates for 130 crore Indians is actually far more powerful than a Kennedy launch. I mean, if you have to compare it, I mean, what did they achieve by going to the moon? Just tell the world that we were the first to go to the moon? I mean, I don't know what impact it did. I mean, it took 50 years for India to send a Chandrayaan after that. I mean, the significance of landing on the moon vis-a-vis what a Jio is way too different, because Jio's launch impacted not just 130 crore Indians or their experiences on 4G, but also created a whole host of startups which otherwise would not have existed, whether in all the technology that we're seeing as solutions.
I mean, we're not a political show, but this is a very fair point in the sense that, innovation is only as good as the benefits it provides.
Yeah, it has to impact human lives. So
these are the perils of trying to compare John Kennedy with Mukesh Ambani. I think it doesn't happen very often. Let's wrap it up here, but I want to wrap it up, Ram, with something kind of looking to our viewers. What's your advice to up-and-coming marketeers about how they become more innovative?
Some people might think that this might be a very lame answer, but I honestly believe that it starts with the gut instinct. to begin with. It comes not from your brain, or it actually comes from your gut. You know that you need to do this so that you're going to solve for a whole host of issues that you're probably addressing. And then how you refine it becomes part of that solution that you're looking for as answer. And the final outcome could be through various methodologies, and one of that could be innovation. So the first thing is to get the gut to feel that what you're going to do is
Okay.
innovative enough.
Well, as a restaurant man, I'm totally pro gut. Ram,
I liked all your breakfast this morning, so.
Thank you very much. You've been a great guest. Thank you so much for
My
being on the
pleasure.
show.
Thank you so much.